Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Bruce, from Radical X Games, playing Buried, an interactive story. Now, this is a game that's been out there for quite some time, and I'm actually going to give it a try now. It's something that I looked at and I was like, it's an interactive story. Nah, I'm not going to play it. But after playing Bunker, I kind of thought about it. I'm like, you know what, let's give this thing a try. So, here we go. Buried is an interactive story. The plot will change based on the choices you make. The story is broken into 5 chapters. Play straight through or at your own pace. There's no waiting and no pauses. Enjoy and choose wisely. Okay, so we're going to be doing... Oh, look at the trees. Lovely. I was drunk in the woods. So we're going to be playing an entire story just straight through from what I'm getting out of this. What happened? Did the game break? Okay. I opened my I opened my eyes, and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back, and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful, except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened, and my head... My God, my head hurts. And a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not there. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of the crew. They could be in danger. Forget the hat. Search for the crew. Damn. I decide that my hat can wait until I figure out what's going on. I get up and take a long look around the logging site. I smell something burning, and don't hear any engines running. Wait, something isn't right. Was it the bulldozer? Maybe the damn thing overheated for the last time. Maybe the engine finally blew. 'Cause that's normal! What a mess. Well, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Only one way to find out, I guess. I walk over to the center of the logging site and don't like what I see. What did you see? Oh, continue. Oh no! It is a truck turned over! The ground was made of wood. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on his truck for the day is overturned. The trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me, and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after the hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. Oh, that's creepy now. It's 2017. This was like a year before 2017 this game was made. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in the strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief, but it also makes me fearful, because something is certainly not right here. Is it Slendy? Is it Slender Man? The Slendy Bendy Man? No? Maybe? I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. There could be something in the truck. Let's look at the debris. There are bits of debris everywhere. There are fragments of the 5-gallon bucket I keep our work rags in. A loose saw chain, and an overturned gas canister. Had there been an explosion? All of the fuel on the site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walk through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. Dennis, you're fired! His metal lunchbox is open, an indicator that he had been taking an early break. Dennis, you're double fired! But he's not here. No one is here. They're all fired! Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception is crap out here. So it's not like anyone would get this call. Yell out. Yeah, yell out so the demons in the woods can get you. Call someone on cell. That seems more logical. I pull out my cell and try to make a call to Frank. It rings and rings and then just goes to his voicemail. But before I can leave a message, my phone goes dead. Frank, you're fired! Great, I hope I don't need my phone anytime soon. Might as well start walking. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them. But with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My God, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that? Underneath the bulldozer. Oh my God, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. Go look! Ah, that killed me. That killed me. Hey, I yell. Are you okay? Are you alive? I skip over the stray logs and wrecked equipment to get closer. Seeing the dozer teeter makes me think maybe I should have grabbed my hat. I can see a bit more of the leg. The jeans are soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent at an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. Well, Tony, I'm sorry to say this, but you were fired. Just saying. I should probably leave the body alone. The bulldozer's gonna do something bad, probably. You know what? We're in it for the really bad run. Let's just pull the body out. I try to pull him out, but he's not budging. That's when I see the blood coating the ground under him. It's thick and fresh, so dark on the dirt that it looks black. As I'm tugging, I hear something crunch, but I somehow manage to pull him out. His legs are absolutely crushed, and his stomach looks dilated. Blood is covering everything from the navel down. His face was turned to the right when he was crushed. It looks like a broken plastic mask, seeping with blood and bits of a scattered skull. My God, I can't believe this. I have to turn away. That's when I hear a deafening creaking noise, and I'm bashed in the head from behind as the bulldozer shifts lower to the ground. I roll clear and end up on my back, my eyes shut tight from grimacing. My head is exploding with pain, and I feel a stream of warm blood. Why wasn't I wearing my hard hat? Okay, just stop reminding me how shitty of a person I am. That's all I can think over and over, but it doesn't make the pain any less. After writhing for a few minutes, I finally pull myself up off the ground. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. Okay, so now that I've been told how shitty of an individual I am... Okay. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week or so of work, so everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't seem to be a breeze or to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the, well, during the what? Accident? Or, wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless, about 30 feet away. Walk up to him. No, yell out. Yell out. No, yell out. Dennis! I yell. Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis lets out a shout, like someone waking from a nightmare. He then looks back at me from the ground. Yeah, Roger, I hear you. He hollers back as I head over to him. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has the tough personality to match. But in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on, he asks. Oh, he asks. So no one knows what the fuck's going on. Missing, Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. No shit. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he is just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned, the dozers too, I say, whipping my forehead. You okay, I ask him. Yeah, it's shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. Well, he and I have always been on good terms. We've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight night before, but I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with the news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has the right to know. And I'm gonna have to say something because he's gonna find out sooner or later, and if I don't say something now, Dennis is gonna hate me. Why is there a loud boom noise? You're upfront with Dennis about Tony. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say? Oh, that's me. Whatever. Dennis pauses for a moment like he is trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says. I can tell that he is fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What'd you see? I don't even know, Roger, he says. It's like this flare of white light. It came right up out of the ground, like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. Yeah, where'd it go? It just shot up like the sky until it was out of sight. When? I'm not sure, he answers. But I had finished about 10 trees for the day and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You're almost done with 10 trees? I ask. Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to be able to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. Why? You don't believe me? Yeah. You believe Dennis's story. Dennis is a cult leader, isn't he? He saw that he saw. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says. But if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't unusual it isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's then that I notice that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question. He just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. Yeah. Let's be realistic, I tell myself. I might as well try to be empathetic. Out here in the middle of these woods, the ringing could be anything. Maybe a car alarm from through the woods or something. Still, even my passive comment seems to have reassured Dennis. He looks a bit calmer, more relaxed. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on him today. I can't, I say, cursing myself. I used up my battery trying to call you earlier. It's then that I notice something that makes me stop. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth. Wide, but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted. No shovels or diggers used? Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw the light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on, and we might not be safe here. But the ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. You know... Yeah, let's check. Let's do this. I'm gonna do this like a Lovecraftian story. So I'm gonna really fuck my life up. With that, we turn and start walking to the west in the direction that I'm pretty certain leads to the road. Wait, so we didn't check the hole?
Because you avoided the noise.
The hole? Oh, now there goes that. It's sort of embarrassing. I have been a logger for nearly 15 years, but I'm finding it easy to get lost in these woods. The trees are so thick in places that the moonlight doesn't even reach the ground. It's easy to get turned around. My only hope is that I can find the overgrown dirt road that will lead us back to the highway. You sure we're headed the right way? Dennis asks. Pretty sure, I say. I turn to him and see that he's clearly in pain. It's at this moment that we come upon another one of those smooth holes. This one is even stranger because a nearby tree also has a chunk out of it. The arc goes smoothly through the ground and then up through the trunk like a cartoon wrecking ball plastered through both of them. What the hell are these things? Dennis whispers to himself. He takes a step down into the hole, his boots creating imperfections in the shape like footprints on the sand dune. Step down into it. Step down into it. Yeah! I take a step down with Dennis into the hole, if that's even what you could call it. As I stoop down to examine it, I'm amazed how smooth it is. Even rocks that were under the earth have been sheared to fit the spherical shape. It's then that I feel the ground beneath my feet start to sag. By the time I'm aware of what's happening, the ground is giving way and I'm falling. I cry out in surprise and can barely hear Dennis letting out a curse as we go down into the earth. Yeah, that one killed me. That one killed me. Should have worn my hard hat, right? The fall isn't a long one, but when I hit something a few seconds later, it hurts like hell. The wind goes rushing out of me when I hit, and a sharp pain flies through me. What the hell? I say once my breath is back. Beside me, Dennis is slowly rolling over to get to his feet. I look up and see the hole in the ground where we fell through. It looks to be about 10 feet over our heads. It's completely dark, but there's a small flicker of light further into the cave ahead of us, and a solid wall of rock behind us. Looks like the only ways out of here are further down the cave or up through the way we fell in. Dennis might be able to boost me up there, but with his injury I'm not sure how stable he is. He might drop me. Head into the cave. Because if we get up there, then we're gonna have to leave Dennis. I decide we'd better not risk hurting ourselves trying to climb out. As we turn to head up into the cave, I take a closer look at the light further ahead and realize it's artificial. We both start heading towards it instinctively. As we step into the light, panic gently gnaws at me because what I'm seeing makes absolutely no sense. It's no longer a cave or hole. It's a long, sparsely lit corridor. Okay, before we continue, this is very Lovecraftian right here. Just everything that we're seeing just the emotions being shared by this character is very Lovecraftian because he doesn't understand what's going on. It's just it just kind of warps his own mentality, and that's so cool. And it's really awesome because I've just been getting into reading a lot of Lovecraftian novels. I just actually bought an entire complete works of Lovecraft, so this is really awesome that I'm playing this game now. Oh my god, it's so cool. Oh my god, that's horrifying. Are we gonna see anything jump out? Okay, I feel this is gonna be more atmospheric. It's a massive corridor, in fact. It seems to go on forever. It's mostly dark, with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I turn to my left and see that there's a door which appears to lead upstairs to the outside, but it's locked tight. I push as hard as I can, but no luck. Dennis, help me with this, I say. He comes over and we both try to kick the door open, but it doesn't budge. For some reason, someone doesn't want people getting out of here. Looks like we're headed down the hallway. Tiptoe quietly. I feel like a ghost. Like I truly have no business being here. Dennis leans on me for support. We move slowly, our feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear us. We tiptoe forward as softly as we can. As I carry Dennis to the far end of this otherwise featureless place, I see a flight of concrete stairs leading down. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man, he says. I'll be okay. I just need a minute to rest. But looking at him, I'm not too sure. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them as so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs, I ask. He stands up slowly and is visibly making an effort not to fall back down. Yeah, he says, and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and by just looking at them, I get the sense that we're crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. Yay! As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damned ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs make a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he is leaning on the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Miles to give him a break. Yeah, he's gonna need that. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder and help steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks, boss. I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on the stair, my mind seems to lock on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married, and I've met his wife a few times. A nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never again get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he has been providing for them since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I can still find them and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. After a few moments, Dennis says, "All right, let's keep going." We both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicking onto my throat. After that, feels like forever. We come to the bottom of the stairs. We're closer to that ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just as out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says Level 1 Entrance Gate, Transport Sector, and there's a button with no label. Well, if I have ever learned anything, it's that you should never touch a button in a dilapidated bunker underground, so push the button. I give the button a push. One of the readings on the panel flickers to life. Outage. That's all it says. It then goes dark. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind, each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off. But one of the phrases has slowly blinking red light next to it. The only powered light on the whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. Let's go, he says. I want to find out what the hell this place is. As Dennis walks through, that ringing or beeping or whatever it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. I can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis' step as he lets out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going, I ask. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now. He seems scared. Something I've never seen before. Angry, yes. Upset? Yes. But Dennis is never scared. What did you see? Whoa, what's so dangerous? I don't know, he says. I don't think there's anything there to hurt us, but that doesn't mean it's safe. There's just something wrong. It started with that flash of light. It's like it breathed life into the woods. And whatever life it breathed, I don't think it was anything good. It didn't say anything because it sounds crazy. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just background noise. We take a few more steps and I can now see where we were. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. End chapter 1. That's chapter 1. Wow. But there's no saves, I don't think. I'm supposed to play it straight through. I think. Respect the dead. Oh, okay, no, that's a save, okay. You and 64% of players pulled Tony's body out from under the bulldozer. Secrets. You and 76% of the players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. You and 55% told Dennis you believed his story. 25% of players ran away from the ringing sound. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I really enjoy this. Settings. Is this where I can save? I don't think I can save. No, there's a reset. So no, I have to actually keep playing. And is okay, so yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's just jump into chapter 2. We're gonna play this entire thing right now. So let's do this. Alright, so off to the next part. Oh wow, this isn't weird looking. When did I get into the Death Star? We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they were running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe? Why are we in a subway tunnel? Dennis, what do you think this is? Let's ask Dennis's opinion on things. Looks like we're waiting for the D train, Dennis says with a deadly sounding cackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself. But I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While this seems to be limping along with much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. Reassured Dennis. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain. We've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can either go left or right. The left is slightly lit and right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I ask Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe it kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are our options. To the left are flickering lights indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right, just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Oh man, let's go left, because there's light and not a creepy person down there. Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. Seems smart, but you know what? I just doomed us all with the obvious choice. The music is very disorienting, by the way. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, luring us forward. Someone left the lights on for us, Dennis says, trying to be funny but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing, I say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like the machine I've heard of before. As the light increases, I use it to take an inventory of Dennis and his condition. While the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that was soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now, fully stepping into the light, I notice that the sound of machinery is coming from an area on the left side that is protected by the guardrail. Wisps of bright blue light dance on the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says, "Danger, severe radiation, poisoning threat." Oh, that's always great. I'll probably step back and move on. Because radiation's kind of a bad thing. Last time I checked. Dennis, I don't think we should get near whatever it is down there, I say. Dennis studies the blue light a bit longer, then nods. He's hurting enough as it is. I don't think we need to add radiation poisoning to his list of ailments. It might give him like 4 legs or something. Something really cool to help him walk. Or mine, for that matter. We step away and take off down the tunnel again. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into a view up ahead. Yeah, the music, though, very intense music. We are in a subway. Where the hell are we? Frickin' Umbrella Corp? As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's a light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up to the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heavy breathing. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. Whoa. Let's not go with that first one. Let's go with the second one here. Because, let's face it, the guy's hurt. Yeah, that's kind of a dick thing to say. See, I've actually gone from just going from careless to let's kill everyone in the game to, okay, I have one person to really keep an eye out on. Because one person has already died in this, so... And that was already sad enough. I'm not the one with a gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says with a weak laugh. You need a minute to rest, I ask, as warmly as I can muster. No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to the long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who is actually supposed to be here. Stay quiet. Totally stay quiet. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it isn't meant to be secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through. weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. This is so cool. This is actually really awesome. It's like a creepypasta. Except it's like creepypasta mixed with Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure. This is awesome. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming to the woods. So, it looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and the small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that has been on my mind since we fell in that hole. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Oh goody, the monsters are gonna be let loose. Yay! Are we in SCP containment? Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency light is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. The mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had to be an alarm. But for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway and the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, this place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with 2 main doors. The door opens onto a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny, I ask, as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Well, that's dark. Let's enter the conference room, because then we can figure out what's in the lab. Dennis is gonna die. Like now. That sucks. My one friend. A large table sits in the middle of the room, lined with a series of chairs. It looks like something straight out of the showroom. A well-used whiteboard hangs on the wall, and there are scattered papers on the desk. Look at the papers. Most of the papers and printouts have codes and equations that all go way over my head. But there are also handwritten notes that didn't make me feel any better about our situation. I read through them to see scrawled notes about that they say things like, laxatives experiment failed, overdose before transport, levels indicate cellular catabolism, more lead shielding in export suits. Measurements make no sense. Let Barksdale know about possible Higgs field fix. Look at the whiteboard. Because no matter what, we're going to see Dennis dead out there, and I'd rather prolong it. A few things that were scribbled on the whiteboard, mostly formulas and names, but there are some things that are easy to understand. Things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death. Embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode, spherical, liquid, comatose state. Terracore Company, possible plutonium supplier. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out to the room to see him still seated on the floor, but I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Oh, son of a bitch, I took too long. Oh, I don't get to see the other person? It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you and how did you get in here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man's eyes is bold, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared, but there's something else. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, Bullshit! But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun into my face. How the hell did we get into the situation? I think to myself. If we hadn't fallen into that hole, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to be giving this guy information. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seeming confused. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how did you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. Yeah, sure, yeah, right. With that, he sticks the muzzle of the gun in my face. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Oh, I think I just got shot. You step between the gun nuts. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says. But now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what? I asked. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? No, I say. We're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story. How often do you hear that story? The man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe us. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if he has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then in a movement as so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he is moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there is a moment where I think I've been hit. It It takes the clanging noise of the ground tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment, as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I could use as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Why not? Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never, really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard, and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized, and I can feel a shift on the situation. Yet although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. Yeah, step back. That's not good. He's definitely out now. No threat. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seems like his last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with a shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I say, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I take a hard look at the man before I reply. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. I'm kinda hoping for a break here soon. I'm gonna get a quick drink, I guess. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name, I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want the answer, but he gives a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be, I ask? No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Where might I find one? Down on the 2nd floor, he says. But we can't go down there. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend. So take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. And seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you. Just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a friggin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. The explosion in the woods are whatever the hell that had happened might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew, to survive. I know that isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper revealing the interior. So I'm very sorry I'm not joking around a lot during this. It's a lot of reading, and also I feel that joking during this would actually take away some of the atmosphere. It's exceptionally well-lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad in the front right panel by the door with the options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No. It's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I could see that much in his face. Slowly, we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motor filled the space. Marcus scowls at me. I think it's a fair question. It doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. We'll find somebody with the access codes, and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground, helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me, I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I asked, staring at him irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. I handle the IT work, and make sure that databases are up and running. It's a 24/7 job. I haven't seen sunlight in almost a year. I wonder what staying in a place like this for that long would do to someone's mind. I was recruited, he continues. Because of the workload, no one else wants this job, but I don't really mind being by myself. No family. Plus the IT, it's some crazy shit. Crazy how? I ask. This place generates over 100 terabytes of data per day, he answers, getting the slightest bit excited before his face falls again. Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage, and then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling such sharp fear warm its way into my guts. But what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. Think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency phone with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place. Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case you know. Just in case. As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? Oh, thank God there's the end of Chapter 2. That is going to end this video, because I've been doing this for an hour now. So, hour-long video. That's the limit. But, this game is really, really incredible. It piqued my curiosity, in fact. You and 39% of players obeyed the warning sign and stayed away from the glow. Selflessness? Wow, 64% of people stepped in front of Dennis. That's awesome. Mercy. 65% of... Oh, nice. Did not beat the shit out of Marcus. Okay, so like I said, that's the end of this episode, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below. And also, if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button so you can check out more episodes of Buried. I said in one of my other videos that I'm going to start doing longer Let's Plays and more frequent Let's Plays, so keep an eye out for that stuff. Something to subscribe for, you know? So with that all being said, stay radical, my radicals, and until next time, see you!